Please be seated. Well, good afternoon. My name is Dave Douglas, and it's my pleasure to serve as Dean of the Law School here at William & Mary. It's wonderful to have all the parents and families and friends who have gathered today for this afternoon's award ceremony. This is always really a wonderful event. It's one of my favorite parts of graduation weekend, where we get together and celebrate the many successes of the class of 2012. Now, as mentioned, a few of our most special awards will be reserved for tomorrow at graduation, as noted on the back of your programs. And as Dean Jackson mentioned, some awards have already been extended earlier in the year, so we won't cover those. But we do have a full roster of celebration of many of the achievements of the class of 2012. Some of the awards that we'll present today involve several individuals. Now, lest we clap ourselves to the point of injury, you may wish to hold your applause until the final recipient of that award has come forward. But of course, feel free to clap as you will. This is a day of celebration. We're not going to stand on formality, so feel free to do as you will. But if you will, it might be better if we hold off until we get everybody down on the stage, because we will have several big groups coming down. After the ceremony, there'll be a reception for all the graduates and all the families and everyone here in the Wren Building yard. It's on the other side of the Wren Building. You leave this auditorium, turn left. Your graduate can tell you where we're going, and we'll be over here in the Wren yard. It's a lovely reception, and I do hope that all of you will join us. For those of you who are new to William & Mary and perhaps not familiar with the Wren Building, let me just say a word. It will be a lovely place for us to gather. It's the oldest academic building in the United States. The original version was built in the 1690s. Not long after the founding of the college in 1693. One other thing I'd like to mention of a historical note, of course, is the mace here at the front, in front of the podium, that was carried in by Jay Sinha just a few minutes ago. This mace was crafted in the middle of the 19th century. It is a copy of the identical copy of the mace that's currently used in the British House of Commons. So it's a lovely thing that we have at the law school, and we use it at all of our special ceremonies. Now, we're going to begin today's ceremonies with the Order of the Coif. The Order of the Coif is, if you will, the Phi Beta Kappa of the law school world. It's one of the highest honors that law schools confer each year on their graduating students. This year, we admit students, as we do every year, to the Order of the Coif based on their grade point average. First, let me tell you a little bit about the Order of the Coif. It has quite a history. It dates back, actually, to the 12th century in England. The original English Order of the Coif was an association of lawyers from whose ranks judges were appointed. And for many centuries were the only lawyers who had a right to appear as barristers. Only the most able lawyers in England were chosen for membership in the Order of the Coif. Now, the initiation ceremony for the Order of the Coif centuries ago, I'll have to say, was much livelier and more dramatic than ours will be today. We'll have a very nice one. But here's what they might have done 500 years ago. Bells would have been rung, learned addresses would have been given. The new members, now it was a little expensive to be a new member of the Order of the Coif. You were obliged to bring gifts of cloth and gold rings to those who had come before you. There was feasting that would go on sometimes for a week. The feast was provided by the new members. We won't do that today. Members of the nobility, judges, often the King and Queen of England would attend the initiation rites for the new members of the Order of the Coif. Ours will be simpler, but it is a lovely organization. It's an ancient organization. It's the oldest organization for lawyers in the world. Now, why is the society called the Order of the Coif? The Order of the Coif takes its name from the coif refers to a little hood that the new initiates would wear that covered their entire heads except for their faces. It was a little cap, and in time, the notion of wearing this little hood, the little cap with only the face showing, morphed into the wearing of wigs. And I think we're all familiar from sort of popular images of English barristers wearing powdered wigs in court. This derives from these small little hoods that the early members in the 12th century would have worn as members of the Order of the Coif. The English Order of the Coif was an incredibly select group. At any given time, only about to 45 members would have been admitted at one time to the Order of the Coif. And many of England's greatest judges and barristers were members, such as Blackstone, Bacon, Coke, and Glanville. Today, the Order of the Coif, there are chapters of Order of the Coif at about 70 law schools in the United States, and we are, of course, of one of them. We will proceed now with the initiation of the class of 2000 members, or the Order of the Coif. And again, I ask that you hold your applause until the end, and then we can all let loose. I'm going to ask Professor Patty Roberts to come forward and read the names of the newest members of the William and Mary Law School chapter of Order of the Coif.
I'm going to read your names one at a time, and it would be very helpful to us to get you the right certificate if you come up in the order that I read them. Congratulations to all of you. Joseph Burris Allen, Jeffrey Todd Bosman, Brendan Matthew Clegg, Caitlin Elise Cotter, Lindsay Welter Davis. It's going to get tough now. Caitlin Courtney Grattan, Timothy Joseph Huffstutter, Catherine Ann Peebles, Nathan Robert Pittman, Thomas Wayne Ports, Adam R. Prescott, Benjamin James Reed, Bradley D. Reed, Christina Maria Sartorio, Kenneth Charles Silverman, Samantha Lauren Soller, Brendan Eugene Sullivan, Davis Michael Walsh, Jared Aaron Wilkerson, James Robert Zadik, and Samuel Lee Zimmerman. Congratulations to the class of 2012 Order of the Coif.
Our newest members of Order of the Coif, congratulations. Thank you. Now, each year, William and Mary Law School initiates an honorary member of Order of the Coif. The reason we do so is this. We did not have an Order of the Coif chapter until 1981. As mentioned, many law schools still do not have chapters of Order of the Coif. Accordingly, our honorary member is always a person who graduated from the law school prior to 1981 and who would have been a member of Order of the Coif had we had the Coif chapter at that time. It also must be a person who in the ensuing years has enjoyed a career of particularly outstanding distinction. This person is chosen each year by vote of the faculty members of the William and Mary Law School faculty who are members of Order of the Coif. The law school alumnus who we elect to Order of the Coif this year is Michael R. Boraski. Mike Boraski, a native of Pennsylvania, came to William and Mary in 1972, having graduated 3 years earlier from Duke University. He graduated from our law school in 1975 and frankly was one of the most outstanding graduates of this law school from the 1970s. He graduated first in his class, he was a member of the William and Mary Law Review, and very active in the law school student government. Since graduation, Mike has enjoyed an extraordinary career. After graduation, he moved to Pittsburgh, joined the law firm of Eckert Siemens, where he's had a very successful practice in the area of complex civil litigation, particularly commercial litigation, handling lawsuits throughout the United States. He has particularly extensive experience in antitrust law, products liability, toxic tort, and environmental litigation. He has been extraordinarily successful, and William & Mary Law School is very proud of our alum from the class of 1975, Michael Boraski. And Mike, I'm going to ask you to come down. And I'm also, as Mike is coming down, he's here with many members of his family. Here he is. And I'm going to ask them to stand. His wife, Diane, is here, 3 children, and I think 5 grandchildren. I think they're back here. And if you guys would stand just for a second so we can acknowledge you all. Thank you very much. And Mike, it's our great pleasure, and I'm going to give you the podium. And first I'm going to give you your certificate, and then you're going to get the podium.
Thank you for both. Obviously, nobody told me to bring my wig. When I was a third-year law student and I interviewed for jobs, I still remember one question that I was asked by a couple prestigious firms in the country. I won't name names. Question was, why should we hire someone from William & Mary? And I was asked that question twice. The first time I kind of stuttered and stammered and really didn't have an answer. The second time I said, well, it's a very good law school, and I did okay there. I didn't get the job, but fortunately I did find a firm in Pittsburgh that hired me, and I've been there for 37 years. And it took me 37 years to figure out the real answer to that question. The answer is not that it's a good law school. It's a very great law school. And it's so great that I probably couldn't have gotten in now. But I'm humbled and honored that the faculty would give me this honor. This law school has been very near and dear to my heart, and I hope as you continue in your careers and begin your careers that you will remember the law school and the great leadership and faculty and education that I know you've received here. Thank you very much.
Mike, thank you very much for those great words, and it's wonderful to have you back here on this occasion. We now turn to several awards based on academic achievement, and we will begin with the ABA Award for Excellence in Local Government Law, which will be presented by Dean Rosenberg.
The American Bar Association allows us to give an award every year for excellence in local government and land use control law. This year, the Outstanding Performance Award in those subjects is to be given to Jeffrey Bosman. Jeffrey?
You're very welcome. You did a great job.
The American Bar Association and Bureau of National Affairs Award for Excellence in the Study of Intellectual Property Law honors superior academic performance in that field. This year's recipient earned top grades in both copyright law and patent law. He wrote a student note titled The Auto-Authentication of the Page, Purely Written Speech and the Doctrine of Obscenity, a sophisticated analysis of obscenity law that was published last year in the William & Mary Bill of Rights Journal, for which he served as executive articles editor. Among his many other accomplishments, he was the vice president of our Student Intellectual Property Society during the 2010-2011 academic year, and he was awarded honors in all 4 legal skills semesters. I'm very pleased to present the ABA BNA Award for Excellence in the Study of Intellectual Property Law to Ryan Christopher Rasmus.
We'll just pump up that liability insurance we have. I'm very pleased to be presenting the Ali Aba Scholarship and Leadership Award. This award is given to the graduate in this law school class who best represents a combination of scholarship and leadership, the qualities embodied by the Ali Aba parent organizations, the American Law Institute, and the American Bar Association. I'm particularly personally pleased to be presenting this award because I was delighted to have the opportunity to have this student in my first-year criminal law class 3 years ago, and I saw firsthand her intense intellectual firepower. She answered every question with sophistication and insight, and she went on later to become a TA in her 3rd year, and I heard from all of my criminal law students how wonderful their torts TA was. So I'm very delighted to present the award to Caitlin Courtney Grattan.
The next award is awarded by the American Bankruptcy Institute. It is given to an outstanding student in the field of bankruptcy. The student this year took my bankruptcy course and did extremely well in that course. He went on to do an independent research project in which he looked at 363 sales under the bankruptcy code, which is far more interesting than it sounds, and analyzed some of the claims that were made about the Chrysler bankruptcy and was able to show actually that a lot of the conventional wisdom about that bankruptcy has proven false. I hope the future brings him many failed businesses and insolvent debtors with whom to exercise his skills. This year's award goes to Jared Aaron Wilkerson.
I'm Don Tortoris, and I teach the health law curriculum. I ask the following graduating students to come forward and be recognized as Benjamin Rush Scholars: Amanda Sobrick, Stephanie Bitto, William Versfeld, and Samantha Soller. The law school's Benjamin Rush Scholars are students who have achieved scholarship distinction in health and bioethics law. In the spring, they present their papers in a symposium which is open to the entire college as well as the Williamsburg community at large. They also choose the recipient of the Benjamin Rush Medal, individuals who have achieved national or international distinction in the advancement of American or international health. The medal has been presented to Dr. Howard Jones, the founder of the Jones Institute for Fertility and Family Health, to Nancy Kassebaum Baker, former senator from Kansas and co-author of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, to Dr. David Kessler, the former chairman of the Food and Drug Administration and dean of the University of California School of Medicine, to Ophelia Dahl, co-founder of the world-renowned poverty health initiative known as Partners in Health, and this year to Senator Harry Reid and Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi for their work in the controversial passage of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. The prize is being awarded to Samantha Soller for her paper entitled "Kicking Dickie Wicker: Why Refusing Federal Funding for Therapeutic Cloning and Other Embryonic Stem Cell Research Will Destroy More Than Embryos." To Amanda Sobrick for her paper entitled "Mandatory Human Papillomavirus Vaccinations for School-Age Children, a Necessary and Legitimate Addition to State-Mandated Health Protection." To Stephanie Bitto for her paper entitled "Silence is Golden: Effective Lawyering for the Incompetent Death Row Defendant." And to William Versfeld for his paper entitled "The Case for Stricter Exemptions: what the one-sided controversy over the MMR vaccine can teach us about compulsory vaccination. Now, with respect to Benjamin Rush Scholars generally, I should also mention this. The national specialty firm of Epstein, Becker, and Green holds a very intense national writing competition every year in the fields of health law and life sciences. 3 schools are tied for winning the most prizes in that competition. Each has won 3 prizes. They are the University of Pennsylvania, Harvard University, and the Benjamin Rush Scholars of William and Mary. These are your Benjamin Rush Scholars.
Each year, William and Mary Law School sends one of its most outstanding graduates to the University of London for 1 year of study in English law, leading to a master's degree. And in return, the University of London sends to us one of its most outstanding graduates for a year of study at William and Mary Law School. All of this is funded by the Ancient Order of the Drapers in London, an organization dating back to medieval England. Recipients of these scholarships are called Draper Scholars. The competition among the third-year class for one of these Draper Scholarships is always very intense. The member of the class of 2012 who was chosen earlier this year to be our Draper Scholar for next year at the University of London is Eddie Eichler. Eddie, if you're here, if you'll stand up. Congratulations, Eddie, and good luck to you next year in London. Professor Hamilton will present our next prize.
Good afternoon. I'm Vivian Hamilton. The Family Law section of the Virginia State Bar and the Virginia chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers co-sponsors a Family Law Award that is presented to a graduating student at a Virginia law school who has demonstrated the most excellence in the study of family law, contributions to, and the promise of future contributions to a greater understanding of the field. The 2012 recipient of the award this year is Timothy Joseph Hufstadter. It's always been clear to me since he was a student in my civil procedure class that Tim was engaged in every aspect of the intellectual life of the law. He followed and shared with his classes legal news, oral arguments, blog postings, in addition to earning top grades across the board. So congratulations, Tim. Thank you. Well done.
Most of you are here as friends and family of the JD graduates that we have this year, but I'm here to announce awards for members of our LLM class. Our LLM students, and we have 28 of them this year, are drawn from all over the world, and they're foreign students who come here for 1 year. They study in our law school and take our regular JD courses. As you heard at the outset of this award ceremony, the highest JD students are admitted to the Order of the Coif, the highest performing ones. We recognize the highest performing LLM students with a Graduate Legal Excellence Award, which we consider the kind of the practical equivalent since it represents the highest grade point average. This year we had, and believe it or not, an absolute tie in that, down to the 100th place. So I will make this award to 2 people. And this year, the 2011 Graduate Legal Excellence Award is given to Ms. Chunjuan Liang and Ms. Yifan Lu. Would you please come up? I will give a second award to our LLM graduates, but I'd like to explain it first. In addition to academic performance, and these two graduates who just came up here received their awards for academic performance in the JD courses they took, we also give an award for excellence in legal writing. The students in the LLM program take a year-long legal writing course, and the best two students of this course are recognized with this Graduate Legal Writing Award. This year, the winners of this award are Ms. Lily Gu and Ms. Yifan Lu. Congratulations, you did a great job. Great job. You found it.
The Hamilton Prize recognizes outstanding performance in legal history. This year's recipient was nominated by Dr. Warren M. Billings, who is a visiting professor of law with us this year and was unable to attend today. The winning paper was the result of an independent research project that was written under Dr. Billings' direction. Titled Military Commissions, National Emergencies, and the Death of the Constitution, the Unconstitutional Trial of 8 United States Citizens, the paper tells the story of 8 individuals accused of plotting the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln and tried by a military commission rather than in a civil court. By examining the trial transcript and the Lieber Code, the code of laws that governed the U.S. military during the Civil War, the paper concludes that because the government produced no evidence that the defendants were agents of the Confederate States of America, they should have been charged in a civil court. And the paper uses this example to remind its readers that the legal issues raised by the trial of the Lincoln conspirators persist with the War on Terror and the recent passage of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012. In nominating it for the Hamilton Prize, Dr. Billings called the paper soundly researched and argued, noting that it delved into little-used sources to contribute to a much better understanding of the legal implications of issues that are with us today. I'm pleased to present the Hamilton Prize for Outstanding Performance in Legal History to Timothy Joseph Hofstadter.
The Herman Prize is named after Richard Herman and in his honor. Mr. Herman, who works and resides in Delaware, is one of the nation's most competent and, I might add, charismatic high-technology lawyers. The Herman Prize is the highest honor that the Center for Legal and Court Technology can bestow upon a student. It is only given when clearly merited, and there have been many years when it was not awarded. This year, there was, in fact, a number of possibilities. After a moment's thought, there was only one clear-cut winner. It will be self-explanatory as I read it. The Law School of the College of William & Mary in Virginia, to all shall see these presents greeting. This is to certify that the 2012 Herman Prize has been awarded to Zachary Withers in recognition of having demonstrated the greatest potential in making future contributions to the enhancement of the efficient administration of justice through the innovative use of technology. Mr. Withers' continuing its selfless efforts to assist the Center for Legal and Court Technology, its experimental, operational, academic efforts have brought great credit upon him and this institution and served as an inspiration to others. It is signed by the Dean, the President of the National Center for State Courts, and I confess I added a signature as well. Zach, it consists of a framed certificate and a small but heartfelt check.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susan Grover. Welcome. I've been on the faculty since 1988, and I just want to say that in all of those years, I have not seen a class that could surpass this one in the way of accomplishment or promise. So congratulations to all of you. Now, it's my honor to present the Crutchko-Fries Award. And I'll read to you just a one-sentence description of what this is. The generosity of the Baltimore-based firm Crutchko & Fries makes possible the annual recognition of a graduating student who has excelled in labor law and employment relations. The faculty are the ones who select this person. I like to call this person Lindsay Welter, but she wants us to call her Lindsay Welter Davis for some reason. Come on up, Lindsay.
Our legal skills program, about which we'll be hearing a bit more, has been a 4-semester program based upon simulated law firms in which our students have learned a wide variety of subject matters, including legal research and writing, professional responsibility, interviewing, negotiating, a little bit of ADR, trial appellate practice, and advanced representation. It is very, very hard to get an honors grade in legal skills. It is incredibly hard to get 3 or 4 over 2 years. The fact that we have a number of students in our midst, student colleagues who have done so, is a testament to their extraordinary ability. I might add that when doing letters and other forms of recommendation for legal skills scholars, I've been known to suggest they do indeed, professionally speaking, walk on water. The way we will do this is Professor Williams, who's the Assistant Director of Legal Skills, will call the names, and then we ask you if you would be good enough to come up on stage in the order in which your names have been called. We will be thrilled to bestow the appropriate certificates.
Krista J. Barber, Lindsay M. Buffard, Jeffrey T. Bosman, Kristen R. Brown, Laura M. Breimer, Daniel M. Carrico, Dominique J. Church, Richard T. Clossy, Jr., Brendan M. Clegg, Caitlin A. Cotter, Laura L. Denicky, James I. Doherty, James E. Evans, Karen E. Gillespie, Caitlin C. Grattan, Araya Haraharan, Leah M. Jackson, Han H. Lee, Eli J. Mackey, Peter C. Nanov, Catherine A. Peebles, Nathan R. Pittman, Thomas W. Ports, Ryan C. Rasmus, Emily L. Riggs, Rachel M. Roberts, Jacqueline A. Rogers, Julie M. Silverbrook, Amanda L. Sobrick, Jeffrey N. Stedman, William R. Stevens, Jessica C. Strock, Michael L. Warwick, James F. Welch, Lindsay R. Welter, Zachary A. Withers, and James R. Zadek.
Hi again. I'm still Susan Grover, and I thought if I got up here kind of quickly, we could save a couple of minutes by forcing somebody who's already up here to stick around. I'm giving the award for the National Association of Women Lawyers, and this award recognizes a student who contributes to the advancement of women in society, promotes issues and concerns of women in the legal profession, exhibits motivation, tenacity, and enthusiasm, and on, somebody who's in the vanguard of women's issues. And we've got a number of leaders like that, but the leader who is being honored today is Julie Silverbrook.
Good afternoon. I'm Leroy Millett. I'm a justice in the Supreme Court of Virginia, and I had the great good fortune this year of assisting in the coaching and teaching of the National Trial Team. And I have the opportunity to award the Virginia Trial Lawyers Award. This award recognizes a graduating student, or in this case students, who have excelled in the skills of trial advocacy. And the 2012 recipients are both excellent members of the National Trial Team. Madeline Marie Buckley and Janet Jen Ali are the two recipients. They wanted to get a picture, I thought. Picture here. Do I get to be in the middle?
Well, how great is that to have your coach of your trial team be a justice on the Virginia Supreme Court? Lee Millett, thank you very much for your service to your law school. Now we turn to a different part of the program now, and that is where we honor achievement and work on our law reviews. And a very important part of legal education at every law school in the United States are the law reviews. And when Mike Boraski graduated from William & Mary in 1975, we had one law review, the William & Mary Law Review. In the ensuing 32 years, we have added 4 other law reviews. We now have, in addition to the William & Mary Law Review, the William & Mary Bill of Rights Journal, the William & Mary Environmental Law and Policy Review, the William & Mary Journal of Women in the Law, and the William & Mary Business Law Review. These 5 journals this year published more than 5,000 pages of legal scholarship. And I hate to imagine the thousands of hours that went into selecting, editing, and site-checking this vast quantity of legal scholarship. Now, every year, a comprehensive study is done of all the law reviews in the United States to try to determine what type of impact are they having on the law. And this is measured in 2 ways. Number one, what law review articles are cited by courts as being helpful in the adjudication of legal disputes? And number 2, which law review articles are being cited by other legal scholars as being influential in the shaping of other scholars' ideas? These recent calculations have been released, and our 5 reviews did quite well, and I just want to take a minute as a way of congratulating the members of these law reviews on the work that they've done. The William & Mary Law Review is now the 18th most cited general interest law review in the United States, in a tie with the Vanderbilt Law Review and 1 spot ahead of the University of Chicago Law Review. The William & Mary Bill of Rights Journal is now the 2nd most cited specialty journal in the field of civil rights, and the 4th most cited specialty journal in the field of constitutional law. The William & Mary Environmental Law and Policy Review is the most cited specialty law review in the field of energy law, and the 13th most cited specialty law review in the field of environmental law. The William & Mary Journal of Women in the Law is the 10th most cited specialty law review in the fields of gender studies, women, and sexuality. And finally, our newest law review, the William & Mary Business Law Review, is the 11th most cited specialty law review in the field of corporate and business associations, and the 23rd most cited specialty law review in the field of commercial law. I'd like to congratulate all of our students who participated on any of these 5 law reviews, and I'd like to ask you to stand. Each of you has done marvelous work, and in so doing, you have contributed to the stature of William & Mary Law School. And we'll now take an opportunity to honor the achievements of certain individuals on each of the reviews.
Well, hello again. One of my other functions is to be the faculty advisor to the Environmental Law and Policy Review. Each year, approximately 30 to 35 student notes are written, and a note is a short article. Of these notes, a small number are actually published in the journal. Each year, we pick, or the selection process picks the finest, the best, the most outstanding of these student notes. And as you've heard from Dean Douglas, ranking number 1 as the number 1 energy law review isn't too bad either. This year, the winner, the recipient of the Environmental Law and Policy Review Award for Excellence is Garrett D. Trigo. Garrett? There's no picture? Thanks a lot.
Hi again, this is my last visit with you this afternoon. I've been selected for an honor here, actually, and that is the honor of presenting the Thomas Jefferson Prize. I'll read you a little bit about this. The Thomas Jefferson Prize is awarded each year by the Bill of Rights Journal for its best note. It's given to the note that best addresses a novel and timely issue in constitutional law in a clear and persuasive manner. And this award has already been presented at the banquet for the Law Journal, but I'd like to ask Joseph Burris Allen to stand and be recognized right now as the recipient.
Hi, everybody. I am not Susan. But I, too, am happy to be able to recognize just a handful of students who have done wonderful work this year on a couple of our law journals. Dean Rosenberg described the preparation of a note as a small article. But I think all those people who stood up a couple of minutes ago would describe it somewhat differently. It is a year-long project. It is a very exacting project. It is sometimes an exhausting project. It is sometimes a very exciting project. And I am happy to recognize the author of the best student note in the Business Law Review for this year, Joseph Burris Allen. Now, the process of putting out the book itself, like the process of creating a student note, is also exacting and exhausting and sometimes exciting. But each year, and sometimes miraculously, the journals come in on time, usually under budget, and it takes a tremendous, tremendous amount of team effort. I want to hold up the last issue of Volume 3 of the William & Mary Business Law Review, on time, under budget. And I thank everybody who contributed to that fact and the many pieces that go into creating a high-quality journal. But the Outstanding Member Award, who takes, or should take, great credit for the success of the journal this year, its first year conferring academic credit, is Sophia Ann Chase. Another journal, this one, Orchid in Color, also on time and under budget. And this one is Volume 18, Issue 3 of the Journal of Women in the Law, another team effort. And both of the journals bring me great pride and great pleasure when I sit down to read them. The outstanding member of the Journal of Women in the Law this year, to whom is owed much of the success of the journal, Allison Marie Drake.
Hi there. I am honored to be presenting the award for the Best Student Note of the William & Mary Law Review. The recipient of this award is not here today, so we're going to clap all the louder in the hopes that he will hear us from afar. The award goes to James Erickson Evans for his fascinating note, The Flesh and Blood Defense, which appeared in Issue 4. Hooray for James.
We now move to the next phase of the award ceremony where we recognize our competition teams here at the law school. This is another very important part of legal education where our students go out and compete against students from other law schools in various areas of advocacy and other legal skills. We've had remarkable success. What I'm going to do here is these recognitions have come throughout the year, and as I call out folks' name, I'm going to ask them simply to stand, and I'm going to start with the moot court. Let me just say a word about moot court for those of you who, for the parents who may not know what moot court is. It's a mock argument that students engage in on a particular legal case. It actually also has a very ancient tradition. The moot court process began probably 400 or 500 years ago in the Inns of Court in England. And barristers would get together and they would argue cases, a mock case, against one another, and it'd be followed by a tremendous feast. A lot of feasting in the law in medieval England. Well, fast forward to the 17th century, the Puritans didn't think much of the feasting aspect of the moot court, particularly because it involved a lot of alcohol and seemed to sort of become a lot more important than the argument. And so moot court went out of fashion in the 17th century England. Fast forward again to 1780 and the founding of the first law school in America here at William and Mary, and the moot court was resuscitated and is now a very standard feature of legal education at law schools across the country, having begun here in the United States at William and Mary. What I'm going to do now is read out the names of our students in the class of 2012 who successfully competed, won some type of special recognition at one of the moot court competitions. I fear I'm going to miss someone in doing this. We have many different moot court competitions, and all this data comes at me from here, there, and yonder. If I have forgotten you, please forgive me. It's a long list. I want everybody to get comfortable. The moot court team had a good year. And if you'll stand as I call your name. Richard Clousey, champion and best oralist for the final round at the 2011 Charleston School of Law National Moot Court Tournament. Region 4 champion for the 2011-2012 New York City Bar Association National Championship, and finished in the top 8 in the country at the Andrew Kurth National Moot Court Championship. Let me just say a little word about that top 8. This tournament down in Houston decided they would try to identify the 16 best moot court tournaments in teams in the United States, the law schools that had the 16 best teams. We were deemed to be one of those. They competed in Houston, made it to the quarterfinals before they were eliminated. But that was a marvelous success for our moot court program. James Evans, who, as we just learned, is not here today, but he had a great year on the moot court team. He was a semifinalist and best oralist at the 2011 American Bar Association Regional Tournament, also a Region 4 champion for the New York City Bar Association National Championship, and also a member of that Houston team that made it to the quarterfinals in the National Moot Court Competition. Davis Walsh, champion of the 2011 Charleston School of Law National Moot Court Tournament, also part of the Region 4 championship in the New York City Bar Association National Championship, and also a member of that Andrew Kurth team in Houston that made it to the quarterfinals. Jimmy Doherty, semifinalist and 4th best brief at the 2011 American Bar Association Regional Tournament, 3rd best oralist at the Pepperdine National Entertainment Law Moot Court Competition, and a quarterfinalist at the 2012 Charleston National Moot Court Competition. Tom Ports, semifinalist, 4th best brief at the 2011 American Bar Association Tournament, quarterfinalist at the Charleston National Moot Court Competition. Laura Breimer won the Pace International Criminal Court Moot Court Competition, won the best oralist in the final round of that competition, and by virtue of winning that competition, then went and argued in an international competition at The Hague last year. Ken Silverman, semifinalist at the Black Law Students Association Moot Court Tournament. Jason Mackey, semifinalist at the Black Law Students Association Moot Court Tournament. Jacqueline Rogers, best brief, quarterfinalist at the Corporate Moot Court Competition at Widener Law School. And she was also a quarterfinalist at the National Constitutional Law Moot Court Competition at Regent Law School. Michael Warwick's semifinalist at the Corporate Moot Court Law Competition at Widener Law School and the 7th best oralist at the Wexler First Amendment Moot Court Competition. Chris Brennan, semifinalist at the Widener Law School Corporate Law Moot Court Competition. Nate Lambeth, the champion and the best brief at the Stetson International Environmental Moot Court Competition in the Atlantic Regional. He too advanced to the international competition phase of this competition and filed the second best brief. Zach Withers, champion best brief, best oralist for the final round at the Stetson International Environmental Moot Court Competition. And he too was part of the advanced to the international phase of that competition and was part of the second best brief. Emily Riggs, quarterfinalist at the Braxton Craven Memorial Competition at UNC Law. Valentine Udwebauer, quarterfinalist at the Braxton Craven Memorial Competition at the UNC Law School. And Mark Connolly, quarterfinalist at the Hassell National Constitutional Moot Court Competition at Regent Law School. Again, congratulations to all of you. I ask your forgiveness if I missed you, if you were someone who also was part of the competition, but I'd like all of the moot court team members who had an incredibly fine year to stand up. Thank you very much. A great, great year for the moot court team. Now let me talk about the trial team. Going to go with the same drill here, talk about the success that the trial team enjoyed. I'm going to ask the folks whose names I call out to stand up and be recognized as I call their name. At the Stetson 4th Annual Pretrial Competition, William and Mary won that tournament with Caitlin Cotter, Janet Lee, and Emily Riggs. Individual awards were given at that particular competition. The best advocate in the second round, the semifinal round, and the overall tournament was Emily Riggs. The ABA Labor and Employment Law Student Trial Advocacy Competition, we finished in second place, Peter Nanoff, Lindsay Welter Davis. The Puerto Rico Trial Advocacy Competition, we were semifinalists at that competition with Richard Clousey, Madeline Buckley, and Destiny Harris. At the National Black Students Law Students Association Thurgood Marshall Mock Trial Tournament, we finished third place, Jason Mackey and Destiny Harris. At the Capital City Mock Trial Challenge, quarterfinalists, Madeline Buckley, Caitlin Cotter, and Destiny Harris. At the South Texas Mock Trial Challenge, we wrote the outstanding tournament brief, and that was Richard Clousey, Janet Lee, Peter Nanoff, and Lindsay Welter Davis. So congratulations to these members and all members of the national trial team. We have a newer competition team, the Alternative Dispute Resolution team. They also enjoyed success as they continue to move forward. Laura Breimer, Ken McLeod, and Joe Camion competed in the St. John's University Securities Dispute Resolution Competition and won the mediation aspect of that competition. So they were winners at St. John's. Mike Bagel and Jimmy Doherty were the outstanding new team at the Alternative Dispute Resolution Competition in Chicago this year. And Jessica Gianti advanced to the semifinals of the MBLSA negotiation competition. So this is our newest competition team, and they're off to a great success. I do want to recognize three of our graduating students. I do want to recognize all of our competition teams and congratulate them on a successful year, but I am going to ask three of them to step forward. And these are the three graduating students who were national finalists at the 62nd Annual National Moot Court Competition. We do have a certificate for you. Richard Clousey, Davis Walsh, and James Evans. Ricky, you and Davis are here if y'all will come forward. I'd like to turn the podium over now again to Justice Millett, who will present our next award.
The Order of Barristers was established at the University of Texas in 1965 as an honor society dedicated to the acknowledgement of superior advocacy. To be elected to the Order of Barristers, a student must have contributed substantially in an oral argument program, either in the administration of an advocacy program or through the development of advocacy skills through competition. The selection is limited by the school's student participation in competitive advocacy activities. Only 8 students can be selected from William & Mary. The selection is made by both the National Trial and the National Moot Court teams. Here are the 8 students selected this year. And if you please come up when your name is called. Laura Minson-Breimer, Richard Thomas Clousey Jr., Caitlin Elise Cotter, Lindsay Welter Davis, James Erickson Evans, Nathan Wesley Lambeth, Janet Jin Ah Lee, and Davis Michael Walsh. We should stand over here and get a picture. Wait a second.
Approximately 22 years ago, the American Bar Association awarded to the William & Mary Legal Skills Program the first ever Gambrell Prize for the most outstanding training and professionalism in the bench bar or legal education. With that award and distinction came a small sum of money. We debated on what to do with the funds. Professor Moliterno used to note there was a long discussion about a very large blowout. However, ultimately, a decision was made to use those funds to support a Gambrell Prize. The Gambrell Prize honors the single most outstanding legal skills student from each of the 14 legal skills firms. And that means the person who best represents professionalism, public service, integrity, dedication to the improvement of lawyering skills and the actual improvement of those skills. My colleague, Professor Williams, will now call the names.
If you would come up in the order in which your name is called. Krista Joy Barber, Lindsay Marie Bufford, Jeffrey Todd Bozeman, Kristen Ruth Brown, Laura Minson Breimer, Madeline Marie Buckley, Dominique Jankiana Church, Lindsay Welter Davis, James Ian Dougherty, Karen Elizabeth Gillespie, Adam Robert Prescott, Rachel Marie Roberts, Jacqueline Ann Rogers, and Zachary Alexander Withers.
The Presidential Management Fellowship Program recognizes outstanding graduates from across the United States who are graduating from law schools or doctoral programs or master's degrees in a variety of different disciplines who have a clear interest in and commitment to leadership and public service. The Presidential Management Fellows Program is, in fact, the federal government's cornerstone initiative for leadership continuity and recognizes excellence in public policy leadership and management. Now, the competition to be a Presidential Management Fellow is intense. About 9,000 candidates were nominated this year by their universities. Of that group, 600 were chosen. 3 of that 600 are members of the class of 2012. All have secured positions with the federal government under this prestigious program, and it's my pleasure to ask them to stand and be recognized as our newest group of Presidential Management Fellows: Dustin Allison, Mike Bagel, and Jason Howell. Congratulations.
The Spong Professionalism Award is awarded in honor of and in memory of United States Senator and Law School Dean Bill Spong, an extraordinary person. The award itself is given by the Society of the Alumni of the College of William & Mary to a third-year law student who best exemplifies professionalism and professional responsibility in the legal skills program. It is very, very rare to have a tie. But choosing from the 14 Gambrel Prize winners, as we do, this year a tie was unavoidable, as the student body might expect. So we are pleased to award the Spong to
Laura Minson Breimer and James Ian Doherty.
This has a certificate, a mint-filled cup, and a check.
We come now to the final group of awards that we convey each year at this awards ceremony, and this is awards for student service. It's part of the ethos of William & Mary Law School that a commitment to public service is very much about what our graduates are about, and we like to end the ceremony each year recognizing those students who have been particularly outstanding at this point in their careers with respect to service. For the past decade or so, we have conveyed about 20 dean's certificates to a small group of graduating students whose service to the law school, inside the law school, has been particularly compelling. Now, I'll have to say, it's not easy to choose just 20 students for an award like this. But several of us get together and we think about all the ways in which our students have contributed to the life of the school, and most importantly, the students nominate their peers to receive this award. And so it's my pleasure now, based on those nominations from our students, to select the 20 students who will receive a dean's certificate for contributions to the law school, and I'm going to ask them to come forward. Michael Robert Bagel, Stephanie Bray Bitto, Jeffrey Todd Bosman, Kristen Ruth Brown, Laura Breimer, Sophia Chase, Richard Clousey, James Doherty, James Evans, Brittany Nicole Lee Richardson, Meg McAvoy, Lillian Francis McManus, Jonathan Peterson, Lauren Santabar, Julie Silverbrook, Jay Sinha, Jessica Catherine Strock, Lawton Tufts, Davis Michael Walsh, Jamie Lee Williams, Lauren Elise Williams, Catherine Marie Wilmarth, and Bailey Jennifer Wolfstead. Thank you very much to these students for their service to the law school.
Each year, we select a small group of second and third year students to mentor their first year classmates in subjects of the first year curriculum. These students provide a very valuable service in assisting their younger classmates in the mastery of the first year subjects, and these are called the academic support teaching assistants. I'd like to recognize 9 of them who are graduating now, and I'll read their names, and please come up in the order that I read them. Catherine L. Barbier, Stephanie B. Bitto, John Semino, Lindsay Welter Davis, Caitlin C. Gratton, Bradley D. Reed, Jacqueline A. Rogers, Kenneth C. Silverman, and Bailey J. Wolfstead.
Thank you very much for your service. Many of our law student organizations have a profound commitment to public service, and there are many that could be called out for special recognition, but I'm going to mention one at this point in the program, and that is our Black Law Students Association. For the 4th year in a row, our Black Law Students Association has been named as the Mid-Atlantic Black Law Students Association Chapter of the Year and one of 6 national runner-ups for the National Chapter of the Year, based on their extraordinary program of public service in so many different ways at the law school, in Williamsburg, and in the larger community. This year, those 6 finalists for the National Chapter of the Year were Florida State, Harvard, Indiana, Texas, UCLA, and William & Mary. We were the National Chapter of the Year a couple of years ago. So I just would like every member of the Black Law Students Association who's with us here today to stand and be recognized for your incredible commitment to public service.
Hi, I'm here on behalf of our clinical program, and the Clinical Legal Education Association allows each law school to submit one person as their school's Outstanding Student Award winner each year. The award considers, among other things, excellence in the quality of the student's performance in assisting or representing individuals. This year's winner is not here, as we've heard, but is James Erickson Evans. He was a member of our legal aid clinic, and I awarded on behalf of his professor, Karen Rose. She wrote that James not only provided exceptionally professional and successful legal representation in a complex case, he also showed his clients through his work and efforts that the system can work for them. So we congratulate James, and I thank all of the students who are involved in our clinical education program.
It's now time to recognize our students who have received a Ewell Award. Now, the Ewell Award is given each year to students across the College of William & Mary, undergraduate, graduate, professional students, who have contributed significantly in the form of service to the life of the college. Now, the Ewell Awards are named for Benjamin Ewell. He was the 16th president of the College of William & Mary. As many of you, and this was during the 19th century, now many of you may know that during the Civil War, the College of William & Mary was devastated. Most of it was burned. The college was closed for several years. Each year, President Ewell would continue to ring the Wren bell at the top of the Wren building. Even though the college was closed, the ringing of the bell inspired the community that the college would return. And so, for many years now, have recognized a small number of undergraduate, graduate, and professional students with a Ewell Award because they too have contributed so grandly to the spirit of the college. Earlier this spring, 2 law students were among this group who received the Ewell Awards, and I'm going to ask them to stand. Jimmy Doherty and Andrew Chan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to give 2 Graduate Community Service Awards out today. These are 2 awards for 2 LLMs that have been outstanding members of the law school as well as the local Williamsburg community during their 1-year master's degree at William & Mary. Our first winner is Yet Nayet Demasi, and our second winner is Ray Hua Zong.
One of the most important institutions at the law school is the Honor Council. It protects and nurtures the climate of trust and integrity that is central to life at William & Mary Law School. For the past 2 years, the Honor Council has been very ably led by Jimmy Doherty. Jimmy, I'd like for you to come up and introduce your class of 2012 colleagues who have served with you on the Honor Council.
Good afternoon. It was a great honor and pleasure to have the opportunity to work with today's recipients as Chief Justice. Because of their service, the Council and in turn the school are in a better place than we found it, and we have left the Council in great hands. Truly, it was a job well done by all of them. It is probably impossible for me to thank you all all these members enough for what they've done for the council and for me, but I will try anyway. So with great thanks of the school, the council, and myself, it's a privilege to present awards to the following graduating members of the Honor Council: Dominique Church, Tom Ports, Jeffrey Poulard, Will Versfeld, and also Destiny Harris and James Evans, who could not be here today. Thank you for all that you have done.
At its best, the legal skills curriculum is extraordinarily demanding. It asks a great deal of each of our students, an enormous amount of each of our faculty. The next award recognizes what is described in the program as our teaching assistants. That is entirely correct. It's also entirely misleading. Our teaching assistants are better known as our junior and, in some cases, managing partners. They are, in fact, our partners for those of us who teach in legal skills. They are our partners who make the program possible, who have devoted countless hours and enormous amount of effort in every fashion conceivable, and a few we probably can't. They will receive now a certificate. What they will really receive for their hours of selfless service is a share in the success in each of every one of their students to come. They are extraordinary people, and we say thank you to all of you.
Please come forward in the order in which your name is called. Lindsay Marie Bufford, Bonnie Nicole Brown, Laura Minson Breimer, Laura Marie Carini, Brendan Matthew Clegg, Caitlin Elise Cotter, James Ian Dougherty, Alexander Emerson Grout, Leah Michelle Jackson, Alexander T. McDonald, Nicholas Haverkamp Mueller, Amanda Lauren Sobrick, Jessica Catherine Strock, and Zachary Alexander Withers.
Good afternoon. My name is Stacey Ray Simcox, and I'm the managing attorney of the Lewis B. Puller Jr. Veterans Benefits Clinic. Today I'm going to be giving out the Lewis B. Puller Jr. Veterans Benefits Clinic Award for Excellence to students who've represented our nation's military heroes by participating in the Puller Clinic and emulating the characteristics of selfless service and professionalism. In this clinical experience with the Veterans Clinic, our students learn how to be actual lawyers, while helping our nation's disabled military veterans. We represent both active duty service members and those who quit wearing their combat boots long ago. At this moment, it seems appropriate to ask those members of our family and friends who have served or are serving in our United States military to stand for a moment and be recognized. Thank you for your service. Now, today, on behalf of the veterans we serve, we would like to honor those graduates of this class who gave freely of their time and spent much of their days and nights and weekends and holiday breaks. Here I should insert an apology to Mrs. Trego, Garrett Trego's mom, sorry about that. Going above and beyond the classroom requirements to help those who are most deserving among us. Now, I've heard that this clinic has a reputation of being challenging, demanding, time-consuming, and then they have to deal with me. But each of the graduates being honored today rose to that challenge, and then they excelled. The Lewis B. Puller Jr. Veterans Benefits Clinic Award for Excellence is symbolized in this small token that each honoree will receive, and it's a coin. Now, members of the U.S. military have a long-standing tradition of carrying a special coin symbolizing unit identity and esprit de corps. The tradition started during the Civil War and World War I when our soldiers would go far from home and they'd carry a coin in their pocket to remind them of where they were going to return. And when they came home, they kept it to remind them of what they had done. Today, challenge coins are carried by all branches of the service, and they identify the bearer as a member of a particular unit with a well-defined history and mission. Now, commanders use them as on-the-spot awards, and they may be symbols of gratitude or a job well done as well. The Puller Clinic Award for Excellence was designed with this history and meaning in mind. The coin displays the William and Mary moniker on the front, and on the back is our symbol, or is our motto, serving those who've sacrificed, with our 3 principles the clinic is founded on: selfless service, professionalism, and heroism. In the center of the coin is a compass, because each of these Puller Clinic students have promised never to be a closed door for a veteran, but always to point them in the right direction. So it's my distinct pleasure to award this coin to members of this graduating class who went above and beyond in their support of our nation's heroes. And I'll call your names out in no particular order, and you can come up. Kristen Byers, Jamie Williams, Lauren Santabar, Garrett Trego, Ryan Rasmus, John Semino, Stephen Hoopengardner, Bailey Wolfstead, Jeff Bosman, John Krug, Jamie Smith, Mark Villapando, Joe Kazmarek, Michelle Bailey, Nate Pittman, Eric Amateus, Dustin Allison, John Nobrega, and Alexander Vakos and Nick Mueller. In the past year alone, these students have worked approximately 1,800 hours on behalf of our veterans, represented active duty members during physical retirement hearings for traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder they received during combat, and educated active duty and veteran service members in homeless outreaches and outreaches at rehabilitative hospitals. 40 years from now, when they retire from their very successful law practices, they can look back on these coins and remember that they made a difference. And they helped our country fulfill Abraham Lincoln's pledge in his 1865 second inaugural address, which was with malice toward none, with charity for all, and with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and to care for his widow and orphan. They truly are William and Mary's best examples of citizen lawyers, and I'm proud to have served with each of them. Thank you.
Okay, that is a really tough act to follow, but I'm going to try. In 2009, our law school formed the Special Education Advocacy Clinic to assist children with special needs and their families in working with schools to meet the educational needs of these students. The clinic is part of the law school's Parents Engaged for Learning Equality initiative, and law students working under my supervision offer their services to families at no charge. These services are invaluable to those who receive them. The Special Education Advocacy Award recognizes a student for his outstanding service to children with special needs. The award was established by one of our alums, Claire Maddox, from the class of 2005, and her husband, Bob, given in honor of their son, Evan, who has cerebral palsy, and in loving memory of his twin brother, Brooks. I'm pleased to say that Evan has a little sister now as well. On their behalf, I am pleased to present this award to Mr. Jared Wilkerson, a student whose compassion and efforts on behalf of his clients inspired me.
years ago, you were selected for admission to William & Mary Law School. I was then, as I am now, very proud of you. Congratulations to each member of the class of 2012. With the following graduates, please come forward. Michael Robert Bagel, Krista Joy Barber, Kristen Ruth Brown, Laura Menson Breimer, Andrew A. Chang, Amanda Aaron DeBerry, James Ian Daughtery, Timothy James Huffstutter, Emily Helen Lucking, Meredith Catherine McCoy, Nor Merchant, Andrea Nicole Nixon, Jeffrey Bernard Poulard, Emily Lauren Riggs, Garrett Douglas Trago, Michael Lawrence Warwick. Each year, student volunteers give generously of their time to assist the law school admission program with recruitment and enrollment activities. Admission results are strengthened by our enthusiastic student volunteers. Your work as student admission ambassadors has been valued and appreciated and made a difference for the law school. You have given countless hours, emailed numerous prospective and admitted students, participated in phone-a-thons, hosted visitors overnight, served on admitted students' weekend panels, coordinated and organized group visits, and many other special tasks. You have represented your law school, carefully responding to the difficult curriculum questions and preparation for the profession, as well as answering those really tough questions, like, where is Williamsburg? What do people do in Williamsburg? And my personal favorite, where is downtown Williamsburg? Thank you for all that you've done to represent your law school and this special community. We know you will continue to represent the law school with distinction, both personally and professionally, as alumni ambassadors. The law school is a better place for all that you have accomplished and contributed. We thank you and give you an award of excellence. Congratulations.
Our admission ambassadors really did do a great job. They're a wonderful asset to the law school as they talk to our applicants about what it's like to be a law student here at William & Mary. As they're returning to their seats, I'd also like to say a word about our Dean of Admissions, Faye Sheely. Faye is now completing 30 years of service. She's widely regarded as one of, if not the best in the business. I estimate she's probably read between 75 and 100,000 applications to this law school. And she doesn't know it, but I'm going to get her to promise 30 more years. Thank you, Faye. The law school student government organization is called the Student Bar Association, or the SBA. It's a critical part of the life of the law school. Year after year, they're very much involved in both the social life of the law school, but also providing important support to the administration and trying to help us make the law school an even stronger institution. This year, Jay Sinha led the Student Bar Association with great skill and accomplishment, and he will present the SBA awards along with next year's SBA president, second-year law student, Lee Tankel. So Jay and Lee, if you guys will step up, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dean Douglas. And again, thank you all so much for all your dedication to serving this law school community. I know that the people you're going to join me on stage in a minute have donated so many hours of their own time to help bring our community together, either in events or to help on solving the problems that confront both not only the law school, but also William & Mary generally. And they really were served either behind the scenes or out in front, making this school a better place. And I think I'm really excited to be able to show them and reflect the school's appreciation to them today on stage. So If I just come on forward in the order I called them, as you would, please. First is Sarah Burning. Next is Andrew Chan, Lauren Coleman, Amanda DeBerry, Tony Guo, Douglas Haynes, Joanne Kelly, Brittany Lee Richardson, Lauren Mans, Jabron Muhammad, Bill Novick, Jamel Rowe, Lauren Santabor, Amanda Sobrick, and Jamie Williams. Join me in thanking them for their service.
Good evening. I'm Tim Clancy, one of 8 professors who teach or participate in the trial advocacy program here at the College of William Mary Marshall Wythe School of Law. It's my pleasure to thank formally in front of all of you how invaluable this young lady has been to our curriculum for this past year. Catherine Marie Wilmarth, as she comes up, please, and put her in the limelight here. Let me tell you a little bit about this program. It's a 2-semester program that teaches just over 100 students over the 2 semesters. And our goal is to teach third-year law students and instill with them the ability to actually try a jury trial from start to finish. That is, from selecting the jury to closing argument and hopefully prevailing with the jury verdict. As I said, it's over 100 students. That's hard enough. Catherine, though, has to answer. Come closer, Catherine. It's okay. Catherine also has to answer to 8 professors such as myself. I am one of 3 trial attorneys who teach. We have 3 sitting judges, one of whom is retired, 1 active circuit court judge from Henrico, which is on the other side of Richmond, and 1 circuit court judge from Hampton. We have a managing partner of the U.S. Attorney's Office who teaches, and we also have a chief deputy Commonwealth attorney from here in the city of Williamsburg who teaches. Needless to say, the 8 of us, we've been regarded or called prima donnas, and it's tough for her to answer to us. That's the easy part. The hard part is putting on these juries and coordinating the final exam as an actual jury trial, a 2 to 3 hour jury trial that requires soliciting, encouraging, cajoling, finding witnesses and jurors who will participate in these trials before actual circuit court, both circuit court federal judges, federal district court judges, and state circuit court judges from throughout Virginia who come down here and give 2 or 3 hours of their time and actually preside over an actual jury trial. It's a great program. We produce great young advocates, and it would not have happened over this past year without the invaluable assistance of Ms. Wilmarth to my right, and she deserves all our appreciation.
Program, and it's why we have such a strong program. We're down to 1 final recognition, and then we're headed off to the Wren Building. As mentioned, we have a real commitment at William & Mary Law School to public service, and you've heard a lot about the service of our students over the last several minutes, particularly within the law school. But many of our students go out into the community as well and provide public service while law students to different community organizations. And those students who provide at least 35 hours of this community service are recognized as William & Mary Law School community servants. Earlier this semester, 40 members of the class of 2012 were so recognized, and if you're here today, I'm going to ask you to stand so that we can give you our recognition and appreciation. So those who have been designated as William & Mary community servants. There are a few of you. Come on. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of this year's award ceremony. You heard earlier in the ceremony Professor Susan Grover express the view that in her 24 years here at the law school, she'd never seen a more outstanding class. And I think now that we've witnessed the accomplishment of this class, I think we can understand how Professor Grover could draw that conclusion, and I think we join her in that conclusion. Let's extend one final round of applause for the William & Mary Law School class of 2012. All right, food and drinks await us over in the Wren Building courtyard. Get with your graduate and who will show you the way. And I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow at graduation. We are promised really nice weather. So have fun, and we'll see you in a few minutes and then tomorrow.